Welcome to Wellspring Fellowship. This building has been such a provision from the Lord, such a miraculous thing that has changed the life of our church. We want to introduce to you where we're going in the days ahead.
So in 2019, we found this building was for sale. We knew we didn't have the money for it, but we did a walk around, a few of us, and our faith started to rise. And so after some negotiations, we purchased the building and moved in February of 2019, did a bunch of renovations, but within a couple of months, it looked totally different and the place had life again.
Few things have changed the life of our church than getting this building. It was such a game changer. It allowed us to grow. We almost tripled in size in that first short time that we moved in here. People from the village started coming really for the first time, and it allowed us to really impact the community by making this building and the other building we bought right out front here available for community use, which was our desire from the very beginning.
There are many organizations that use this building and our other building, the community room. It's been a real blessing. It's been part of our heart from day one was to make it available for community use. And we feel like the Lord is reaching our community through this building and the other buildings we have.
When we first got this building, we were renovating what was going to become our main auditorium. The entire congregation fit in this room. This room has been the center of our fellowship for many meetings, men's meetings, business leaders meetings, and the community uses this regularly. They have cooking classes, all kinds of things takes place in this fellowship hall. We call it the cafe.
We've used it for receptions for our people, and it's been such a blessing to have our own kitchen and patio where we can have those events.
About a year and a half ago, I woke up in the middle of the night. I felt like the Lord wanted to say something to me. He wanted to get something across to me. And I wasn't expecting to talk to me about the finances of the building because that's not been my interest or my primary motivation for anything. It's not something I think about, but I felt like he was beginning to speak to me that we needed to pay this building off. And as I thought about what he was saying, it occurred to me that we had made such gains. We not only renovated this building completely, brought it up, made it into a church, but we've reduced our mortgage significantly, but not enough to completely pay it off to a point where I realized if we didn't pay it off by March of this coming year, 2024, we'd almost be back to where we were when we first began getting a mortgage from the hospital. We'd be almost going back full circle. And it was such a disappointment that almost everything that we've paid so far has been interest. We haven't really touched the principal of the mortgage yet. The bank gladly said that they would take us on and they would give us a mortgage when we finished up with this current mortgage that we have. But we'd be right back almost to where we were in the beginning. And it just was such a shock to me to think that we put all that effort into it and we end up no further ahead than where we were when we started.
So we originally purchased this building for around $620,000, which was quite a bit less than the asking price, but the Lord gave us favor with the realtor and the sellers. We were able to purchase it. Over the last 4.5 years, we've been able to bring that down to around $350,000, which is what we're looking for to pay this off in March. That is our goal, and we'd love if you would be involved with that. We invite you to become part of the giving process and what the Lord is doing through Wellspring in Penn Yan and the surrounding areas. So before the end of the year, if you would want to make a contribution to Wellspring Fellowship, we would be deeply grateful.
Paying this building off not only makes financial sense, and it's something that has really motivated us, but it sets us free to begin to really impact this area. We're able to hire more pastors, we're able to start more churches, and really do outreach in this community like we've never done before. It'll set us free in a way that we couldn't have imagined. And that's our goal, is to be free from the debt of this church.
We've always wanted a church that our children would be glad for or want to grow up in, and that has happened. Every time I think about what we started with and where we are now, I go to worship. I'm just deeply grateful, not only for my children to be able to grow up in this, but now grandchildren as well. So bless the Lord.
When Phil and Larita and Heather and I first sat down and began talking about starting this church, one of the things that we talked about was how this whole region is spring-fed. All these Finger Lakes really are the results of springs that God has put in this area. We felt that that was true in the natural, but it's also true spiritually, that God was going to raise us up to release springs of living water all through this area. And that's begun. We had a heart for Hammondsport. We had a heart from the very beginning for Geneva and a lot of the little hamlets in this area. And we just think that something's going to happen, that God's going to free us up to start churches and branches of well springs, little springs of life, small churches, even larger churches, but life that would happen for this whole region. And that's our vision. That motivates us to this day.
So if you've been blessed by Wellspring and being part of what we're doing here, we invite you to give toward this mortgage pay down. You can send your tax-deductible donation to Wellspring before the end of the year. We would be very grateful.
For what God has done through this church in these past 15 years of existence, we just think the next 15 years are going to be the most exciting part of this church. We're going to see it grow. We're going to see it reach out, really impact this part of the state, and we want you to be a part of it.